Good day, everyone, and I'm delighted to join you at this really important conference. I also would like to extend my thanks and warm regards to Dr. Jua of the NCC, as well as to Dr. Ndukwa and other colleagues and friends that are there in Lagos, and my thanks to Martha Aladi for her very kind invitation to include me in this program, and to my friends at the ITU who have facilitated my coming to you via the internet. And as you say in Nigeria, all of the protocols observed, please. And let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Michael Best, and I'm at the Georgia Institute of Technology, which is one of the top 5 engineering universities in the United States. And I at Georgia Tech direct the Technologies and International Development Lab, where we've had a long-term series of engagements in examining the role of information and communication development and technologies in African development, and particularly with projects in Nigeria. I'm coming to you today from the University of Cape Town in South Africa, where I'm on leave this term. So first off, let me say that I'm going to be talking about how Nollywood is a game changer, but as many of you know, Nollywood is a term that is somewhat fraught. It generally implies the English language Nigerian film industry centered in Lagos. While the English language film sector may be about 65% of the Nigerian film titles, there is a significant Yoruba language film industry in the Southwest and Hausa film sector in Nollywood in the North. If you allow me, I'll just use the term Nollywood for now in an inclusive context and without parsing it so closely, and we'll think about sort of the broader ways in which the Nigerian film sector touches upon all parts of the country and various language groups. So Nigeria film industry is by most measures the second largest in the world in terms of volume and the third largest in the world in terms of revenue. Perhaps 40 films are generated a week, $300 million US per year in revenues from the industry. The Nigerian film industry employs about 1 million people. It's the second biggest employer in the country. And Nollywood really breaks all the rules. As an outsider who studies the film industry in Nigeria, it is thrilling, confusing, and fascinating. It has no studios in general. It breaks the sort of Hollywood studio model. It's 100% digital. It's unique in its distribution, mostly straight to VCDs. It's rapid. The storylines are often soap operatic. And I'm telling you all things that most of you know because it is a true cultural icon for Nigeria and across all of Africa and indeed the world. Films are shot quickly, often in 10 days. They might cost $30,000 US. A typical film will sell 20 to 40,000 copies, but a popular one could sell 10 times that and will be viewed across Anglophone Africa, even beyond to other parts of Africa, to the Caribbean, to Africans in diaspora, and really globally. It's quite incredible, and it's an interesting film industry for me as an outsider to collaborate a little bit in a modest way in working with Nollywood colleagues and to study this amazing sector. And it's very much a film industry that is viewed by women and girls. Somewhat incredibly, it is mostly watched by women and girls in Africa. They are the main film consumers of the Nigerian film industry. But according to Deyu Abba, Nollywood videos celebrate African women of all shades, shapes, and sizes. They depict women in varying professional roles, ranging from prostitutes, lawyers, judges, doctors, CEOs, high-ranking civil servants, to domestic roles such as wives, mothers, concubines, girlfriends, and so on. Nevertheless, they also issue dire warnings to women who exceed the limits placed on their dreams by construed tradition, as well as women who fail to meet the expectations placed on their domestic role by cultural institutions. In other words, a woman may be a CEO or a medical doctor, but she probably rose to such a position through juju, greed and self-interest, or sexual transgression. And regardless, she is expected ultimately to accept that her life is defined by marriage, children, and all too often domestic subjugation. As Nollywood creatives, the Nigerian government, and other stakeholders, you all have an amazing opportunity to make girls want a career in ICT through positive imaging in Nigerian film. To do that is to show women and girls using, creating, innovating, and empowered through ICTs in a positive light, not as gold diggers using their BlackBerries for their next job. And so many of you will probably know BlackBerry Babes, which has been a very popular film series from the Nollywood film industry. And in it, we see a lot of women using BlackBerries or trying to obtain BlackBerries through relationships with men who are in positions of relative power. So here we have a scene from one of the BlackBerry Babe films. The woman is saying, "Why can't you understand that without you buying me a BlackBerry phone, there's no basis for this relationship? Why must I be embarrassed in front of my friends?" And here she's texting her friend who's sitting at the same table next to her, "Bear with me, gal. I'll hardly promised buy me the BlackBerry torch today. I'm just being cautious to avoid any excuses." So that's in some ways the quintessential image of women and girls in the Nigerian film industry, using, in this case, BlackBerries for purposes of greed and self-interest, and using sort of sexual relationships as a way to establish her ICT requirements. So again, my question really with this presentation is, how is Nollywood potentially a game changer? How can we use the amazing power and reach of the Nigerian film industry to portray positive images of women and girls in their use and use of information and communication technologies? And I'll tell you about a very small project that I've been doing at Georgia Tech, along with my colleagues at the Digital Bridge Institute in Nigeria and Harvard University in the United States, to produce a film that we hope will show women and young women in a positive light with respect to ICT. So at Georgia Tech, we began a few months ago to shoot a new film where a young woman, is shown as a very powerful computer scientist, computer student, a programmer, and a hacker. And here is a scene shot on the Georgia Tech campus with the young woman, a new actress to the Nigerian film industry, and Desmond Elliott, who will be known to many of you as one of the leading stars in the Nigerian film sector. And what we are doing is producing a film where this young woman is a true, what we would call in the U.S. in a good way, a true computer nerd and geek. She's a great computer scientist and a computer programmer, but also somebody who, in this case, is in love with a Nigerian who is also in the United States studying computer science. We're just now continuing, with the kind support of the Nigerian Communications Commission, the final production of the film with shooting in Nigeria, and we hope to wrap the film in December or January. Now, let me be perfectly honest. This film is not going to be perfect in every way that it depicts women and their ambitions in the use and creation of information and communication technology, but we hope that it's a start and will show the importance and power of the Nigerian film industry in its ability to have positive imaging of girls in ICT. The overall project and the film production, which was started at Georgia Tech, included many other important Nigerian film creative industry leaders. And here at Georgia Tech is pictured and then Izong, Mona Lisa Chinda, who's the other female lead in the film, Zeb Ijiro, who is director, Zeke Zulu, who is a producer and director of the film and also is current president of the Nigerian Film Producers Association, and Desmond Elliott is there at the edge on the right, a little bit cut off. In addition to producing this film, this is part of a broader program we have with our colleagues at Georgia Tech, the Digital Bridge Institute, and the Nigerian Communication Commission to examine new media technologies in the Nigerian film industry. Oh, I forgot, here's a slide of me. You can see this is me serving as essentially the welfare officer during film production at Georgia Tech. I'm the guy there driving the small golf cart, moving around Zeb and Mona Lisa Chinda. So this broader New Media Nollywood program that we have in place has been examining the role of new digital technologies in the Nigerian film industry, including this particular focus on positive imaging of women and ICTs. And one highlight of the program so far was a single-day academic conference with a series of panel discussions on various aspects of new media and the Nigerian film industry, and complementing the Nigerian delegation, which shares as pictured not only Dr. Juwa, but also the chair of the NCC, Engineer Igbu, and the president of the Digital Bridge Institute, Professor Raymond Akule. Complementing that Nigerian delegation were an additional 20 or so scholars and practitioners from the USA and Canada, including faculty from a variety of U.S. universities, Harvard, MIT, Boston University, Michigan State, Tufts, and so forth. So let me just end by, again, thanking the partners we have in the New Media Nollywood program, between the Berkman Center for Internet and Society at Harvard University, the Digital Bridge Institute, which is a multi-campus postgraduate training institution in Nigeria, my institution, Georgia Tech, and the Nigerian Communications Commission, and end by just, again, underlining the possibilities of the Nollywood film industry as a powerful voice in imaging of young women and girls, both as actors within the ICT sector and individuals empowered by information and communication technologies in ways that are important to their purposes, goals, and life activities, and that confront the sometimes negative imaging of blockbuster Nollywood film series such as was seen in the BlackBerry instance. So thank you very much, and again, my thanks to the organizers for kindly including me in your program.